Good morning, everybody. My little weirdos, my fellow weirdos. It is, oh, let's see, 8 o'clock on Sunday morning, day after the No Kings protests. And I was just jazzed. I was just energized. I was tired when we got home, when she dropped me off. My protest buddy dropped me off. I have to go check the signs because it rained enough on him that it got through even. It started getting through the spray coating. So I'll have to get a few more cans and go over them all again. But I got paint on my hands in places, but not super bad. I think once they're dry, and I just left them packed because they're straighter, and they'll gonna go check them today. It's rained all night here. It's still drizzly. It's recently because the drops are still on the bushes, but did my payment. Oh, Raspy, he was up and around when I got up, and I slept later. 7 o'clock. I got up, and that's a little later than normal. But he didn't come wake me up like he normally does. But he was moving around and bright-eyed and asking for some food. Took a couple bites, so hopefully we're getting control of that diarrhea. He was so constipated and putting in fluids and that stuff. You probably all know what that's like. Days and days you're like, ugh. And then when the dam breaks, it's just all liquid. But he's doing better, I think, hopefully. On to I'm just grinning, and it's a double thing. It's the No Kings protest. I know, every time I start thinking about it, because I just read it. I was trying to figure out, we had about 5 million, just up to almost just about 5 million, maybe a little over, on April 19th. And I wanted to see if anybody had estimated yet. And in Morristown, I know there was a couple trolls this last night. But, oh, it was 400, not 4,000, that kind of crap. I'm like, sorry, the cops did the counting. It was at least 4,000, maybe a handful more or something. But they definitely made sure it wasn't overestimate. And there were a lot of cops there, so they were all, perusing it. 4,000 people, not one incident. Because as everybody was packing up, it took me a little longer because I had so many signs, sitting out. I had to fold that up, bring the rock up, because I brought my own weights. I didn't want to defile any rocks by digging up any rock out there. So I just brought my own to be safe. I'm telling you, I was giving them absolutely no reason, to say we were doing anything to the area. I think of that shit sometimes. I know you're like, well, that's ridiculous. They're not going to upset about a rock. Well, you never know these days, So everybody, when they started playing the Boss Springsteen songs, while everybody was packing up, so it wasn't like dead silence. So they really thought about even closing it up because everybody was, packing up to the songs, and they finally fixed what Laura Trump singing "Don't Back Down." That was the first song they sang, and it wasn't Laura, and it sounded decent. It sounded good. And we reclaimed our flags. In fact, that group was 5051. They were handing out. They had buckets and they had flags, and they weren't like the teeny little flags either. They were like this size, smaller than the one I brought, but they were a decent size flags. And so they actually, because those little tiny ones, they don't wave in the wind. They're kind of stiff, you know. These were, yeah. And so we reclaimed our flag. We reclaimed "Don't Back Down." I mean, come on. We did a lot of reclaiming in Morristown, New Jersey yesterday. You can hear it in my voice now. Um, but when I got home, hello, Mudge Mudge. When I got home, after I got unpacked and I actually got something to eat, um, I'm exhausted now and I'm feeling the pain now. But I had a busy week because I worked the election on Tuesday. On Thursday, we had to go to the food pantry, which is, it's like going to shop for a month type of thing. You know, it's like, you're on your feet, and if you've got mobility, if you've got a bad foot or a bad back, that's. And then Friday, I had a company picnic thing, and I had to go to that. And then yesterday. So for somebody that's got a messed up foot, a messed up wrist, and a back that goes into spasms, if the foot starts getting crappy, that's a busy week. Now, before the accident, you know, decades ago, I could have gotten about a dozen things done each day. But a little hint for those who haven't gotten quite so old yet, you have to pick your battles even with your body. And if I'm not saying just accept the current physical, but if you're working and your doctor's working to whatever your issue and it's not getting any better anymore, just be grateful it's not getting any worse. That's kind of how I look at it. Every now and then, if like my sister got me some decent shoes. I mean, they were orthopedic type of stuff to your foot kind of thing. And she got me a second pair for the wedding, for her daughter's wedding, so I didn't feel like I didn't have a dressy shoe, which was very sweet. And they're so well made that I'm still using them. And the thing is, though, when when I first started wearing those a couple years back, my foot shifted because it made my foot be held more normally, because my foot is not exactly straight after they did all the work, because my foot was literally decimated. Every bone except 4 had been either broken, and he used the word pulverized, he used the word bone dust after the surgery. When I woke up, your surgeon comes in. Yeah. So, considering that I had broken, crushed, pulverized, bone dusted, like some of the tiny bones by the toe were like dust. They were just in pieces. And there were pins, in places. So while it was growing back together, it would grow in the right form, in the right. And I've just got to accept that I can't do things that the family does sometimes because it's a lot of walking or something. And they know I'm going to be fucking miserable as far as pain goes. So you have to pick your fucking battles. You have to. And I had a busy week. I mean, the election is 16 hours either sitting or on your feet, standing. So it's like, oh my God. You're 62, it starts to affect you, And, I picked my battles, but a lot was happening on that week, and I absolutely was going to work. Unless I was gasping for breath, I was going to work the election. And there was no way on God's green earth that I was going to miss the protest. Not unless my protest buddy driver, had to cancel or something. For me, I knew that I could probably, because this was the last event of a very busy week for my foot and back and my wrist. I made my choice that working on the election, making sure that election went managed with people because they were short on primaries and stuff. And I had to make sure I got to this protest. Yeah, I went to step, and even my bad foot, even my good foot is like, oh, the ankle when I got up this morning because I was leaning towards the last part of the day yesterday. I was doing a lot more leaning on my left foot. And so I was putting all your weight on your left foot, you know what I mean? Because my right foot was really hurting. So yeah, I'm in pain. But yeah, I got to the protest, and guess what, guys? I was just reading something on Facebook. Now remember, on April 19th, we had 5 million nationwide. Now, just an example, where I went to in Morristown on April 5th. I did not get to that because I didn't have a ride, but there were about 1,000 people on April 5th. Just 2 months later, it went from 1,000 people showing up in Morristown, New Jersey, to yesterday were 4,000. It quadrupled. And I was saying to my protest buddy as she was driving me back home, I said, man, wouldn't it be awesome? I mean, if every place that had, the trip, like if every place that had protests like quadrupled. I said, hell, if we even just doubled what we did, and if we quadrupled it in our little Morristown, New Jersey, there is no reason any other states shouldn't also be at least doubling. I said I will be seriously disappointed. And I get that it was a rainy weekend in a lot of places in America, at least on the eastern side. Some states were battling the heat. And I read this morning that upwards of 10 million were estimated in our country. That is doubling what was showing up just 2 months ago. This is mattering, and it's mattering even more. It's being noticed because the juxtaposition, all the rally pictures and videos were starting to come in because a lot of us had like 11-1 or 11-2, or 2-4 kind of rallies or protestings, and so we were, and then the parade wasn't until like the late afternoon, early evening thing. So obviously the rallies and the protest pictures and videos were starting to, people were getting home. I mean, the professional ones were already showing up before we even got back from our protests. But even the ones that had the earlier protests. But when I just read that it was 10 million, we actually doubled what it was just a month ago. Because we had 5 million on April 19th. That wasn't April 5th. That was April 19th. Just in 2 months, we doubled that 5 million people out in the streets. And the juxtaposition of all of those, since they came in before his little birthday parade came in, they were expecting 200,000. I mean, the green air, the grass was like, oh my God, it looked like it'd be great if you were up front, But then when you pan back and you see all the space they had, and along the, the streets, I mean, you're normally seeing it like yards and yards deep, of people, and they were expecting 200. You know how you had to like apply for like reserve like tickets for spaces. Didn't cost anything, but because they can get an estimate of how many they needed. Well, I can assure you that under no circumstances did I, at 62, again join the TikTokers, which I'm not even really on TikTok ever. But I joined them, as so many others did, and we reserved tickets too. But, somehow I forgot I was at the No Kings rally in Morristown. I was. And when I just read that they had estimated 200,000, I'm like, oh, did all of us reserving those spaces think you had everybody there? Oh, oopsie, sorry. We forgot that's the same day as our No Kings protests. Gots to go. When I read that, when I was watching a video this morning, yeah, I know, I'm probably watching videos way before you even have your eyes open. I have to read this to you because the way this was written, it was in a group called Feminist News. But lordy, this person can write. Let me read it to you. It's a little long, but I just giggled at parts of this. Amidst one of the most tumultuous weeks in U.S. history, where we witnessed a president deploy troops to a U.S. city against the expressed demands of state and local officials, a major escalation in the conflagration in the Middle East, let my voice go, and the political assassination, Trump's big day finally arrived. What transpired can only be described as a Greek comedy. His face foretells the impending dread. If that didn't make you laugh, the first paragraph, because they show the picture of when he was looking out, and his mugshot and his official portrait, that it didn't have the look, but it had the, how he has that resting bitch face? Yeah. So when I read the first paragraph, I'm like, oh, dude, there's like 5 more paragraphs, 6, 8 more paragraphs. I'm like, okay, I'm tired, but I gotta read it. So hopefully that made you laugh too. What transpired could only be described as a Greek comedy. His face foretells impending dread. The parade in D.C. was forced to start a half hour early because of incoming weather. I'm trying not to laugh while I read this. D.C. residents were saying online the air was even more humid than usual. The swamp settled into a thick, rainy haze just as the parade was scheduled to begin. But the real problem wasn't weather, it was crowd size. Isn't it always, Donald? It's always the crowd size for you. DC is an absolute ghost town. You see why I was laughing. As the parade begins, news outlets on the ground all reported the crowd, predicted to be 200,000 people, was a mere fraction. I know, Smudgy. Smudgy's laughing too. Donald, my cat is laughing at you. The ones that were supposed to be eaten by what was it, the Haitians? Yeah. You hear her. She's like, I know, it's hilarious. Predicted to be 200,000 people was a mere fraction. One New York Times reporter described the energy as desultory, the tepid. You see what? The words are, I love it. People don't use good words anymore. The tepid and unenthusiastic attendees didn't show up, or who that did show up, my mistake, couldn't muster as much as a cheer, exhausted and drained from standing in the hot, steaming rain for hours. People always wait for him. The U.S. Army speaker system blared John Fogerty's Fortunate Son, a famous song about the working class people who are forced to go to war, sacrifice everything while draft dodging silver spoon rich kids like Trump simply pay for a phony doctor's note. It's the same idea as the using YMCA. You claiming to hate LGBTQ, and that's like their anthem for years. I mean, the tone deafness is just incredible. The irony was likely unintentional, yet another symptom of a decaying empire, unable to maintain a coherent narrative. My mouth is not working today. Speaking of incoherence, the bored troops marched in the sloppiest lines that would make U.S. Army George C. Patton slap. A video of the parade, widely circulating on social media, depicts an ancient 80-year-old tank plodding down Constitution Ave. The crowd so eerily quiet, the only thing you could hear is the rusty tank tread squeaking, no less diminished than the man who it was intended to serve. Tanks are not impressive when they're on streets because they're not supposed to be run on them. The video continues for several agonizing minutes, with the only audible sound the squeaking of the rusty tank and the soldiers' heads peeping out of the tank holes, gasping for air, trying not to suffocate. That's sad. But the way they write it is lush. Trump basically used 50 million of our tax dollar money to humiliate himself. Outside the empty streets, now degraded from 30-ton tanks, a nationwide rebellion was afoot. More than 9 million people came out today for No Kings in the largest protest against an American president in history. Yes, yes. We want him out more than we wanted Nixon out. Congratulations to everybody who went out protesting, be it a visibility bridge, be it a march, be it a parade of No Kings, be it a gathering and a protest like ours. We didn't march. Thank you to everybody. And for those that couldn't get out there, but you honked your ass off as you went past us, thank you. Because they're talking about you. Right now. We did that. We did that. We doubled what just 2 months ago came out. Our voices in that 2 months reaching out to the other people, the people that were afraid to come protest or didn't think it was that important a month ago. We got to them. They heard us. We're being heard. They're understanding why we were out there those other 2 times. They're understanding now what we're trying to do. And they joined us. So, congratulations to everybody that brought somebody or encouraged somebody to go. To those who came out, to those who couldn't but still found a way to support us. We did that. We told you we could. But you believed us. Even after being betrayed by a president, you still chose to try to believe us and see where that happened. And you see where that went. So thank you for everybody who came out. The thousands of photos and videos online from hashtag No Kings showcase how many millions hit the streets, how positive our energy was, how peaceful and organized we are, that no amount of right wing disinformation could obscure the stark reality that our movement has the juice and MAGA ain't got shit. Because we have loyalty, and it's not a cult loyalty. It's a loyalty because we do what we promise, and we don't promise to destroy your lives. Today, we found our voice. Today, we found each other. Today, we reclaimed our beloved stars and stripes, and we did. We did. And I saw that at every other protest that I was watching last night, and I'm sure a lot of them are going to be up today. We saw they were handing out flags at ours, I told you. We saw flags at every freaking video or picture I've seen of different rallies so far. There's at least one American flag there. And on some of them, like the ones that were handing ones out, there's a bunch of them. One woman, her husband had to go do something, and she was holding his American flag, and she's waving both of them in her hand. Yeah, I was like, she has them sticking out in both ways, and it looked really beautiful. Those two, waving. It was cool. But we did. We got that flag. That is not MAGA's anymore. It is American flag, and it is ours. Today, we birthed a great and mighty social movement dedicated to saving our democracy from the predator oligarchs who are robbing all of us blind while they buy politicians and redirect our rage towards oppressed groups like immigrants and trans people. Today was the day we begin to turn the tables, not just on Donald Trump, but on the billionaire takers who contribute nothing to our society but an organized system of wealth extracting and widespread deprivation, bolstered by a rickety, coin-operated fascist presidency. Rise. This is a quote. Rise like lumbers. That was wrong. Rise like lions after slumber, in unvanquishable numbers. Shake your chains to earth like dew, which in sleep had fallen on you. Ye are many, they are few. I'll read that again. Rise like lions after slumber, in unvanquishable numbers. Shake your chains to earth like dew, which in sleep had fallen on you. Ye are many, they are few. Forgive me for my mouth just not working properly for a change. There's a lot of talking yesterday. It was a beautiful piece of writing, and I know I interjected thoughts in between, but we did it, guys. I mean, we didn't win the battle. Well, we won a battle. We might not have won the war yet. But June 14th, his birthday, he wanted to remember his birthday every year, with yesterday's images in his head. And we, the people and universe, we conspired, and we got now his memory of June 14th, his beloved birthday, will be a day to remember he was humiliated. Not just in front of DC, not just in front of America, but in front of the world, the planet. He just solidified not only how unaware he is about the world and what's going on around him, how narcissistic, how stupid and ignorant he really is. The picture of him is just like and for me and so many others that like trying to hide the grimace, but it's definitely got the frown thing going with the forehead. That picture, along with that writing, and that image and those words are a victory march for liberals and progressives. We did it, guys. We did it yesterday. Our mission was to multiply what showed up last month. Check. To drag attention from our wasted tax dollars. Check. Our rallies and protests have far more attention on them than his birthday parade. Check. Looks like we won this battle, Donald. And we doubled our numbers. Did you? No? Oh, you lost some people, huh? What a shame. Maybe if you weren't a dictator bastard, that wouldn't have happened. But to the rest of us, today, yesterday, was the day we took back our flag. And now we don't have to feel like every time they brandish the flag against its own country, we don't have to have that feeling anymore. You don't take the emblem and take it from, but we did it. Do you remember a couple years back when we took away the Proud Boys pride in Proud Boys? Do you remember when we all did the hashtag Proud Boys thing and posted pictures of gay couples holding hands, kissing, getting married, and everybody flooded everything? I did it with the gayest pictures and the gayest photos they could find of them or anybody else. People at gay parades and total like rainbow hair and rainbow clothing, being the gayest people ever. And we hashtagged it Proud Boys. Yeah, the Proud Boys haven't been quite as proud of, well, their name at least. Maybe that's why they're so angry. Yes, I might not be a TikToker kids, the kids of the generation, but yeah, I partook in that. I partook in reserving seats for one of his rallies that was a dismal failure. Yeah, I participated with the kids on TikTok because I heard about it. I did. I'm a 62-year-old kid, I guess. Did I reserve seats, spaces for the parade? I did. Oh my goodness! I realized too late. Oh, I'll be. Oh, I'll be at the No Kings parade. Oh, what a shame. And there's no way to cancel them. I did that too. Uh, hey, it didn't say only the youngsters could do it. I can help them out a little bit. A little different generation, but I can get with the Gen Zs on this shit. Yeah, I can see how that works. You're all expecting 200,000 and you get 50,000. You're like, guess what, Donald? A lot of those reserved spaces, we knew we'd be at a No Kings parade. Happy birthday, Donald! That was our gift to you. Yay! Did you like our gift? I hope he did. So, if you gave a present to Donald Trump yesterday on his birthday by ignoring him and being at a protest, let me know. Peace out, guys. My face has been grinning like this since I started reading and seeing what a dismal event the parade was and how the resistance doubled in a month. I haven't grinned this big and this long in a long time. I mean, my cheeks hurt. My cheeks, they hurt. But I'll take that hurt. I am absolutely giddy with how yesterday came off. Despite rain, rain doesn't stop democracy. Rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Yes, democracy is the post office. Well, not anymore, but you know what I'm saying. Democracy doesn't give a damn if it's raining. We were out there. And yeah, my hair was soaked. But it didn't fucking matter. Because we were all grinning and laughing in the rain. Looking at each other's signs. There were some great signs. I am so anxious to see other people. Oh, and the one that I didn't have, remember I was going to do, I've got a thing for it too. I was going to do, and I'm still going to make one like that for the next one. Immigration built this nation. And then I'm going to draw the scales, and underneath in big red letters, due process. The other side, I saw somebody that wrote up a sign, and it said this, and I wanted to make one so bad that I just didn't have the time. I've been painting for 6 weeks. For whoever knows what horchata is, horchata is a drink. It's a Mexican and from Mexican culture. Being as that I was in Arizona for 32 years, Tucson actually, so that's very close to Nogales, Nogales, Arizona, and Nogales, Mexico. That's where you cross over. There is 2 Nogaleses, one in Mexico and one that's the crosstown. I'm just horchata. Okay, it's a rice drink. Think of liquid, cold. You know how cold rice pudding tastes? Liquefied, just it's a drink instead. That's what it tastes like. It's the old-fashioned ways. You don't use like rice milk. You soak the rice and then you squeeze out. It's in cheesecloth, and you squeeze out. What you squeeze out is the rice milk. Very rice taste. And they put a little lime, and they put a bunch of cinnamon, and what I mean. They're like, I like my things, most of my drinks except like coffee, and I do like iced coffee, room temperature. Iced coffee is yeah, I like that with ice, but horchata it has to have ice. It's very light, being is that it's a rice milk in a way. And the cinnamon, you to bring out that flavor, you really have to be iced. And even though I prefer most of my drinks room temperature, horchata is one thing that it has to have ice in it. It just has to. So the only reason I told you all that is so you can get what I tell you what the sign says. I'm gonna put that on the other side. I was gonna do that. I saw that comment. Um, it was actually a graphic, um, like this past week, and I have it like sketched out on the side, but I haven't actually done the sign yet. It says, and it said the way I always read it is it's in that, you know, I always drink tonic, that thing. But when I don't always drink tonic, that kind of attitude. It says, I drink my horchatas warm because fuck ice. Fucking really clever. Really clever. And I saw somebody with a sign that said that there. And I think I got a clip of it as in one because I saw it when I was like doing this one of the video scans because I've got several videos that they're like a minute or 2 minutes where it's just sections of where I was standing, and that was just a section. My protest buddy was on the other end. When she came up, she went around the other end, so she got pictures of stuff there, and I got pictures of stuff there, and she's just starting to put that stuff up now. But that horchata sign, you can hear me on the one of the videos. I'm like, there's that sign I wanted to make. I'm like, and I'm giggling. I'm like, because it's just hilarious. Oh, did you like my hands? My sister gave me the hands, and it was just the hands. But these were old markers that didn't work anymore. They were acrylic markers, but I've used up all of it. So instead of throwing it out, I put the E6000 the caps in there, and then that's nail polish. I was like, oh, they were white, and I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look right. I mean, obviously, but still, I wanted something. Is that not perfect? Look at that. You know what that is? That's nail polish. Nail polish. New nail polish, and right? Totally matches. um, I am just tickled pink that we doubled our numbers from 2 months time. And his parade was a dismal failure. They didn't get lightning, so they didn't call off the parade because the military had told him, if it's raining, that's one thing, but if there's any thunder, there's going to be lightning, and we will not run it. So apparently there was no thunder or lightning, but it was very humid apparently. Tell me if you liked that article. That was a Facebook group called Feminist News. The people that write some of these things are very witty and very clever, as you saw by the one I read to you. So you guys have a great Sunday. I know this was long, but I had to read that to you and tell you a couple funny things. But it was a fabulous day. It was a fabulous day for democracy, and a rather dismal day for fascism. Just the way we like it. Beautiful day in the neighborhood for democracy, and a disappointing, dismal failure for fascism. Mwah! That's exactly what Americans want. Fascism, democracy, and thank you, universe, for letting that all descend on DC. Yes, Much appreciated, Lord. Thank you, universe. Tell me if you went to a protest, if you drove by a protest, if you saw a sign that nobody else has made yet. Um, there were some brilliant ones. There was, I told you after the protest, there was somebody with a Putin. I mean, it was big on their face, and they made it so they could put it on and take it off. But all it is she had a T-shirt that says Trump's boss, and it was so weird because I was like, you'll see it in one of the videos. I'm like, oh, can you put that mask back on? I want it. And I didn't pan until it was back on, and I was like, that is so good. And when she was like nodding, and it was like him, she did it very gently, so it looked like, yeah, she had it down. She practiced with it, obviously. And her buddy next to her, oh my God, it was absolutely fabulous. So go look at some of those little clips because some of them were awesome. Some people were just, they went all out in a different way, like I did with all the signs. And a lot of people were like standing at the tree that they were all around. And I'm like, and they said, are these, I was like, you like them? I said, there's messages on the other side on some of those. The ones that are leaning against the tree. That, and they said, are you, they were like, oh, really? These all yours? I'm like, yeah, they are. I was like, whoa. I was like, well, I got the time. But they really liked the messages on them. And I loved some of the signs that I saw. I saw one, she had it on holographic paper. It was only about this big. She had a bunch of them. And she would change. And one of them on the back, because I was behind her, it said, no kings, yas queens. And when I had a chance, before she left, when everybody was leaving, I was like, hey, that one thing that says no kings, yas queens. She goes, oh yeah. She gets it. I was like, that was facing me. I was behind you here. I said, look at that sign. And I had that big gold one that says no kings, and I had the blood dripping off the kings. And I said, yes, queens. And I had that picture of like a person of color with a big bright pink wig, and I painted, she was holding like that, she was like this, and she was holding the dress, and the dress was rainbow stripes sections, and she's like, oh yeah, she goes, and it's on gold. I was like, yeah, I spray painted it gold first. It was great because hers was like this holographic, it was gold but that holographic, it was definitely got attention. In the sun you would have been like, whoa, yeah, I see that sign. That was clever. I mean, it was just paper, so she was, but still, it was like that, like the mylar paper type of stuff, right? Foil, and it was just really great. If you guys, I'm gonna go watch the squirrel. He was just up there. If you guys saw any awesome signs or something, let me know. It was just really awesome. I want to hear your experiences. Peace out.